Georgetown Hoyas softball is on the air. We welcome you to our nation's capital, the George Washington softball field, here on the Mount Vernon campus of the George Washington University. Has started 9 of the 14 games. There are 7 Hoyas who have started every contest so far this year. It's been a pretty consistent lineup for Carla Ross. This one's bounced out towards Harrington across the diamond for the first out. Kozo, Strip Matter, Turner. Rebhan, Francis, Park. That's 6, I suppose, who have started every game this year for Georgetown. And here is Claire Turner, with the best speed on this Georgetown team, has oftentimes been in that leadoff role, sliding into the number 2 spot here today. Takes that one upstairs, and it's 1-0. Huge day for Turner against DePaul in that 8-7 loss in extra innings. 3 for 4. She scored a run herself. She drove in 2. It was a big weekend in general. 5 for 13 with 5 RBIs in the 3 games against DePaul. Takes a 1-0 fastball on the outside edge. It's a ball and a strike. Already 9 stolen bases on the season for Claire Turner as well. Starting to close in towards the top of the all-time record books. She hits this one back up the middle. Rosner to her right. Close play at first with the speed of Turner in time for the second out of the inning. So Alvarez-Backus has been keeping the ball on the ground early on, as she's got success for it. Naya Campos will come back up to the plate. Campos is a really welcome sight back in the lineup whenever she is able to slot into the heart of the order. Small sample size for Campos so far this season. Missed most of the end of February and the start of March. So pretty small size for her, just 12 of 31. But she's been productive when she's had opportunities to play. 4 home runs, 9 RBIs. Played in the first 6 games of the year, went 6 for 15 before being shut down. In fact, her last game before she had to take a break was against the same Lafayette Leopards. These 2 teams have already met in Wilmington, North Carolina on February the 20th and the 21st. Georgetown and the Leopards split those 2, and here in game number 3 in this series this season, a good start for the Leopards as they work 1-2-3 through the top third of the Hoya order. After 1, it's the Leopards 2 and the Hoyas nothing. We head to the second inning of this one. Lafayette out to a 2-0 edge thanks to RBIs from Katie Harrington and Ava Butler in the opening frame. Bottom third of the order to appear against Emily Collins, who is looking for a quicker second inning than she had the first. Maggie Klug will take a first pitch strike, and it's 0-1. Klug, the catcher, 7 runs driven in on the season. Batting average hovering just above a quarter at .259. Senior who is on her third institution of her collegiate career. Ball and a strike now to Klug. Memphis, Tennessee native had stayed in her home state, Chattanooga State Community College, and then Division I Tennessee State, before moving over to play for Lafayette. Gets this one back to the screen, and it's 1-2. Year number 3 now with the Leopards. Only one season each at Tennessee State and Chattanooga State Community College. Last year, 32 starts. She hit 193, so jump in the offense from last year to this season. The 1-2 trying to wait on it, still pulled it to Sarlo across the diamond for the first out of the second inning. Chance for a real bounce back here for Collins. You run into some trouble in the opening frame. Give up the walk, the fielder's choice, the double, and then the 2-out RBI single from Butler. Now you face the bottom part of the order and can really have a chance to build some momentum back your side. Emma Alborn has a chance for her first hit of the season. 0-for-11 so far on the campaign. I think we need a new softball to be exchanged. Good for the Leopards to get Alborn back into the mix. Had not played since March, or had not played until, I should say, March 13th. After she had to miss the early part of the season. Played and started 37 games last year. On to the bottom half of the second inning, middle third of the order due up for Georgetown. Abby Kozo will lead things off and take strike one. So after the strong defense in the top half of the second inning for Georgetown, see if they can parlay that momentum into some offense here in the bottom half of the inning. Kozo quickly behind though, 0-2. Sofia Alvarez-Backus got through the top third of the order, no problem. 3 outs in a row, all on the ground, going 1-2-3 through Sarlo, Turner, and Campos. In a game for the Hoyas in their program history. As Rebhan hits one foul back towards the screen, and it's 0-1. And straight matter was at the heart of all of it for Georgetown. So too was Brooke Rebhan, who had 4 runs driven in. Scored 2 runs herself and went 2 for 3 that day. At the plate here, taking one just a bit outside, ball and a strike. Hitting streak is up to 6 games now for the junior from Miami, Florida, Brooke Rebhan. Westminster Christian School, the alma mater of the Georgetown second baseman. Went off the plate, 2 balls and a strike. Gonna get it going against Lafayette, against the Leopards earlier on this year, just 1 for 6. Did drive in a run and had 1 double. It's been a better March than it was a February for Brooke Rebhan. The 2-1 on the outside edge, and it's 2-2. Now Alvarez-Backus will be able to go back to that drop ball perhaps. Induce another ground ball that got her all the success in the first. It did get away from Klug, and going up to second base is Strittmatter. It looked for a moment like Rebhand had offered at it. She was able to hold up, and the count has run full, and now the first runner in scoring position for the Hoyas today. They're going to peel down to first base to make sure she didn't swing. The count is in fact full. The payoff pitch to Rebhand is laced out towards left field and deep. On the way back is Alborn. She won't get to it as it one-hops the wall. Brooke Rebhand trades places with Emily Strittmatter. An RBI double makes it 2-1. After Kozo was retired to open up the inning, Strittmatter reached, and then Rebhand followed it up with the double. A bloop and a blast for the Hoyas have them right back in this game here in the second. And now Devin Johnson, the catcher, will bat. First pitch is back up the middle. That's into center field for a base hit. Rebhand's going to score, and it's a brand new ball game. RBI single for the Hoyas. Catcher, her 5th of the year. Just like that, it's 2-2. Both runs for the Leopards coming in the first. Both runs for the Hoyas coming here in the second. And after 4 straight were retired by Alvarez-Bacchus to open the game, she has allowed 3 straight hits. And Taylor Francis will be the next to try to keep the line moving for the Hoyas. Leopards chatting amongst themselves to try to settle things down a little bit. This Hoya offense has woken up. Trying to recapture some of those 20 runs that they had against DePaul. You'd love to be able to keep some of those in your pocket and save them for later, when you only concede the 5. But this offense can get going in a hurry. That's a nice play from Harrington to go to second base and get the lead runner. So Francis reaches on the fielder's choice, and there's 2 away. Score at 5-4 in the scorebooks. Harrington had to scoop that one up on the short hop, and she did just that. Here's the number 9 hitter in the order, Gabby Park. Park is really more of a wraparound hitter than a true number 9. She hits well, .250 average. She's driven in 6 runs herself. Still looking for her first home run of the season, but there is power there. Does have the 1 extra base hit, a double earlier on this campaign. Upstairs, and it's 1-1. Francis over at first base after reaching on the fielder's choice. Just 1 for 2 in stolen bases this year. And I think that Park is going to get a chance to swing the bat here with 2 outs. 2 balls and a strike. You'd hate to have Francis run into the last out of a very productive inning. At the very least, even if Park is retired, you have the top of the order in the 3rd. Supposed to have Francis is caught on the base paths. Ball is looped foul, and it will get out of play. It's 2-2. So Emily Collins in the dugout for Georgetown, watching as her offense picks up the 2 runs that she conceded and gets them right back. Collins starting to grow into the game in the circle on the other side. That one's downstairs. It's 3-2, and now that will start Francis from first. Anything in the gaps would likely score the shortstop from first base. With 2 outs and a 3-2 count in a tie game. That was taken low for ball 4 as Park was able to lay off. Or were they ruling that she did swing at it? Oh, they'll say that she went around. And that is it for the second inning, as Gabby Park offered at it. And the second inning will come to a close. A brief word from Carla Ross to the held plate umpire, and that will be it for the second. But the Hoyas get the 2 runs right back, and through 2, it's 2-2. On our way to the third inning now, and the first pitch is on the mark to Danny Rosner, and that will end, or rather I should say that will start the third inning with a strike. Collins out in front, 0-1, now with a new lease on this game. After her offense got right back the 2 runs that she conceded in the first, it's 0-2. Rosner reached on a fielder's choice and came home to score the opening run of the contest. Second baseman for the Leopards trying to kickstart rally here in the third to put Lafayette back in front. The 0-2 just missed outside. Ball and 2 strikes. Lafayette already off to a better start this year, though, than last year. This time of year, they were still really scuffling. An 18-game losing streak to open up 2025. Didn't pick up their first win until March the 15th. And were able to get a little bit of momentum going in conference play. 2-2 now to Rosner. And now in year number 2 of this new regime, a little bit more momentum before Patriot League play rolls around. This ball's looped foul, and it will get over the dugout. Collins looking to do what she did in the second inning, but not the first, which is retire the leadoff batter of the inning, but instead it's hit back up the middle and into center field for a base hit past the diving Francis, who made that great defensive play to end the second inning. Diving to her left to knock the ball down. Lost the glove in the process, but was able to locate the ball and realize that Olivia Catalino was rounding third and heading for the plate. Had a strong on-target throw to Johnson to beat the runner by a couple of steps. First pitch to Harrington is sliced foul, and it's 0-1. Harrington had the first big swing of the day. RBI double gave the Leopards their first run of the game and the lead that they had until the bottom half of the second. Already double-digit RBIs now for Harrington, second on the team behind only Sweet, who is waiting on deck. Collins trying to eliminate the walks as well, already 2 of them now through 2+ innings. First came back to haunt her, the second one didn't. After Catalina was issued the free pass, her defense picked her up. This ball's out towards right field, well hit, but Kozo going back is able to make the catch. Abby Kozo out in right field, using all of that 6-foot frame for the first out of the inning. It's one of the harder hit balls of the day, but Harrington denied anything from it. And now here's the ever-dangerous Kylie Sweet. Sweet rounded out to second back in the first inning. Already 2 home runs this year, already 14 runs driven in this year, as we mentioned towards the top of the broadcast. Very dangerous hitter. And it clipped her on the leg. So first base the painful way for Kylie Sweet, and there's 2 on here and only 1 out for the Leopards in the third. More trouble for Emily Collins to work in. There's been a runner in scoring position in every inning for Lafayette so far. And Ava Butler will be the next to bat for the visitors. Freshman from Spring, Texas, former all-district selection out of high school. Had an RBI single in the opening frame. Takes that one upstairs, and it's 1-0. Butler on the season has started to pick up the pace a little bit, but only 2 multi-hit days all year. Has a chance for that already here in just the third inning. Good eye, though, to make it 2-0. Reagan Dillon awaiting on deck. Already 4 hits for the Leopards. Bounced out to third. Sarlo will step on her own bag and throw across the diamond to double play. Nina Sarlo with the defensive awareness to realize she had a force out at her bag, and then the strong throw across the diamond to go and get Butler as Emily Collins gets out of another jam in the third. It's still 2-2. Bottom of the third inning here at the GW softball field in Washington, D.C. Nina Sarlo in the top of the Hoya order will bat in the bottom half of the third in a tie game, 2-2 after the Leopards scored 2 in the first and the Hoyas 2 in the second. Sarlo was the first of a 1-2-3 first inning for Sofia Alvarez-Backus. Retired 4 in a row before the trouble really started in the second inning. So just as we were talking about a chance for a bounce back for Collins in the second, so too for Alvarez-Backus in the third. That one's on the outside edge and it's 1-1. Backus does have 2 complete games this year. That's been a real concern for Lafayette in 2026 as pitchers who can go the distance so far. Just 8 complete games last year. Fewest in a full season in program history. The only year in which the Leopards had fewer complete games in their pitching staff was 2020, in which, of course, the season got cut short right around this time of year because of the COVID pandemic. But Alvarez-Backus providing a little bit more longevity as that one's bounced foul and it stays 1-2. You know, especially in a doubleheader after a doubleheader yesterday. Leopards would love everything that they can out of Alvarez-Backus. Done well to limit the walks. It has been a concern for her coming into play today. That moves to 2-2. Looked like her first free pass of the day was about to be issued to Gabby Park, but they ruled she did go around swinging to end the second inning. Just her 8th strikeout of the season, Alvarez-Backus. She has walked 10. 2-2. Just off the outside corner. That's a good 2-2 spot for Alvarez-Backus. Still certainly challenged. Count does work full to the Hoya third baseman. The payoff. Out to the second baseman, Rosner. Gets over to field it. And first out of the third inning. So 2 plate appearances and 2 ground outs to the infield for Nina Sarlo. Well, sending Claire Turner to the plate, who bounced out to Rosner as well back in the first. Interesting to see Turner in that number 2 spot in the order. Carla Ross kind of mixing and matching some of her heavy hitters. That's where Turner was against DePaul over the weekend as well. And she had a great weekend. So Carla Ross kind of thinking, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Turner was at the top of the order against GW last midweek. This one's back up the middle and into center field for a base hit. And number 2 spot in the order continuing to suit Claire Turner just fine, and a lot of speed is on first base now for the Hoyas with 1 out. Wouldn't be too surprised if Turner is not staying on first base for all that long with 9 stolen bases already on the season. And the struggles that the Leopards have had in conceding stolen bases. First pitch to Campos, check swing, swinging bunt is foul. 0-1 to the designated player. Bounced out to Rosner as well, the second baseman, to end the first inning. Abby Kozo awaiting on deck, hoping for a chance to hit here in the third. The 0-1. Hitched her swing. It's a called strike anyways, and it's 0-2. And now I think some more eyes will turn towards Claire Turner with the 2 strikes and see if she will be on the move. Klug back behind the plate. Need to be very aware of the actions of the speedy center fielder over at first. The 0-2, runner's not going. Downstairs, ball and 2 strikes to Campos. Campos full of power over the past couple of seasons. 13 home runs back in 2024. Led the Hoyas last year in conference home runs with 4 of them in Big East play alone. That's a good stop from Klug. Picking the ball out of the dirt, and it's 2-2. This weekend at St. John's for the Georgetown Hoyas, or rather, home against the Red Storm, I should say. 2-2. Upstairs, runner is on the move. Throw it out to second base is in time. What a throw by Klug, and Hall did well to get over and apply the tag too. That was right on target from Maggie Klug. And it's the third time this year that Claire Turner has been caught stealing. And still with 2 strikes against Campos, a chance all of a sudden for a quick inning for Sofia Alvarez-Bacchus. The 2-2 slowly hit to the second baseman Rosner. And Sofia Alvarez-Bacchus faces the minimum for the second time today. Claire Turner caught stealing to eliminate the only Hoya base runner of the third. We roll right along into the fourth inning here at the GW softball field in Washington, D.C. Lafayette 2 and Georgetown 2, and it will be 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Leopards against Emily Collins, who has settled in nicely after conceding both the Leopard runs in the opening frame. Defense has played well behind her as well, as Reagan Dillon goes after the first pitch, pops it foul and out of play to the first base side. 0-1. Dillon flew out to right field to end that productive first inning for the Leopards, and now a chance for Dillon to start something up here in the fourth. Junior from Argyle, Texas. Collins froze her with an off speed, but it did just miss foul. Or just miss wide, I should say. Oh boy. Ball and a strike to Dillon. 1 for her last 6 over the last 3 games. That one's on the inside corner, ball and 2 strikes. Dillon has struggled with the strikeout, 4 of them in the past 5 games. Has to protect the plate here again with 2 strikes. The 1-2's in the dirt. Maggie Klug, Emma Alborn also due up here in the fourth inning. Leopards look to retake the lead. They haven't trailed yet today. This ball's back up the middle, took a deflection off of Collins' glove, and Francis stayed with it for the first out of the inning. That's a tougher play than it looks for Taylor Francis, as the ball took an ever so slight deflection off of the glove of Emily Collins. Francis adjusted her footwork and was still able to make the play. There's 1 gone here in the fourth for Maggie Klug. Klug bounced out to Sarlo to start up the second inning. Time is called. As Klug took a moment to get into the batter's box. Collins and Alvarez-Bacchus similar in that they both have been trying to keep the ball down, neither huge strikeout pitchers. Collins has only struck out the batter on deck, Emma Alborn. And Alvarez-Bacchus has yet to strike out any Georgetown Hoya, but both looking for soft contact, especially on the ground, trying to keep the ball down. Both have run into trouble today when they have left it a little bit too elevated. 2-0 here now to Klug. That's going to be the mantra, though, for both Collins and Alvarez-Backus. If you're going to miss down. A ball instead of something into the gap or worse. 2-0 off the outside edge, and it's 2-1. Especially second time through the order. Leopards will be able to adjust to that, know what they're looking for, lay off of that stuff that's towards the bottom or below the zone to force Collins to hit something up the middle the way that Klug just did, but that's a great play from Rebhand. Going to her backhand and getting up to throw to first in time for the second out of the fourth inning. Collins had to leave it a little bit further up, and Klug hit it hard, but Brooke Rebhand with a sparkling defensive effort. Defense for Georgetown has really come to play today here. I think back on that play to end the second inning with Francis laying out to keep it in the infield, and then the throw home. Still had plenty left to do. First pitch to Alborn is in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Especially for a Hoya defense that had 4 errors last series against DePaul. And has had a fielding percentage that is still middle of the pack at .951 coming into play today. No errors and a couple of real star defensive efforts that have led directly, in some cases, to run saving, like Francis's to end the second. One to Alborn, back to the screen, and a chance for Collins to work her first 1-2-3 inning. Got through the bottom part of the order. The first 2 batters did Collins back in the second before giving the walk up to Catalina. Chance for a smoother frame here, though. The 1-2 from Emily Collins. Nubbed out toward the first baseman. Strip matter, she'll take it herself without issue. More excellent defense from the Hoyas, and we're halfway through game 1, 2-2 between Lafayette and Georgetown here in D.C. After the Hoyas went to extra innings in their final game of last weekend's series against DePaul, another good tight affair here against Lafayette. Bottom of the fourth inning we go, a 2-2 contest in the middle third of the order for the Hoyas against Sofia Alvarez-Backus, who has thrown 3 innings, has given up 2 runs on 4 hits. She has walked none, and she has walked 1 and she has struck out none, I should say. 1-0 to Abby Kozo, who hit the ball hard to start the second inning, but right at the shortstop hall for the first out of the frame. Out in front here, 2 balls and no strikes. Kozo already with a couple really good defensive plays today. Second on the team last year in conference batting average, really grew into the end of 2025. Has parlayed that into a really solid 2026 with that average over 360. Really difficult batter to strike out, really good eye. leading the team in average and in OPS so far this year. It's in there for a strike. Actually, she has slid down to second in OPS. Emily Strittmatter has crept ahead of her in that race. Both over 900 now. 3-1 to Kozo. Lined out towards left center field. That'll get down for a base hit. Alborn cuts it off. Kozo trying to stretch it into 2, and she does. Abby Kozo was thinking 2 out of the box. And by the time Alborn could get what was still a strong throw in, Kozo was sliding headfirst into second base. The Hoyas set up here in the bottom half of the 4th inning with a runner at second and still nobody out. Now here's the aforementioned Emily Strittmatter. This big-time slugging percentage is what lifts her OPS up. A lot of power for the Hoya first baseman. Takes the first pitch on the outside edge. Obviously, you'd love to flex the power now if you're Strittmatter, but you got to be thinking about sending a ball the other way to the right side to move Kozo to third with less than 2 outs. The way that Alvarez Backus has been pitching low and away, that would suit that job well. Difficult really to get anything to turn around on when Alvarez Backus is locating well. But she does turn around on this and flares it into shallow center field. Catalina was unable to catch it on the fly, but Kozo didn't know that. And so she retreated to second base. It's a hit for Strittmatter, but Kozo stays put. And it's first and second and nobody out. Catalina nearly was able to make the play on it. She did very well to trap it once it did bounce and make sure that she just smothered it and it didn't get past her. So here's Rebhand now squaring to bunt. It hits her in the box, and so it's just a foul ball. It's 0-1. So a chance to move 2 into scoring position with less than 2 outs if Rebhand is able to get one down here. Rebhand doubled and scored back in the 2nd inning. Now trying to play some small ball. Pulled back to take ball 1. Pressure now on Rebhand already with the strike against her to get the bunt down on the next strike. Imagine she would have to swing away if 2 strikes are on her. The 1-1 gets it down very well. They do throw to third though and get the lead runner. Oh, and a heads-up play from Harrington, who crashed big time from her position at third. And Hall wheeled around well. And they get the lead runner, score at 5-6. As Strittmatter goes to second, but Kozo cut down to third. So despite the leadoff double, the single, and the bunt, runner hasn't gotten farther than second base yet here this inning for the Hoyas. First pitch to Devin Johnson, lone away, and it's 1-0. Sure looked like Rebhand had done enough with that bunt, but there was maybe just a little bit too much on it. Got to Harrington very quickly, and she was decisive in wheeling around and throwing to third. This ball's back up the middle, though, and into center field for a base hit. Strittmatter's on her way home. She's going to score. And the Hoyas have their first lead of the day, courtesy of an RBI single from Devin Johnson. The Hoya catcher had 4 RBIs all season coming into play today. She's already got 2 RBI hits today. 3-2 Georgetown here in the 4th. And the Leopards still far from out of the woods with runners at the corners. And only the 1 out. Here's Taylor Francis, bounced into a fielder's choice back in the 2nd. First pitch is on the outer black, and it's 0-1. So Rebhand now at third after she reached on the bunt fielder's choice, and Johnson with the swing of the day so far over at first. Infield playing middle depth for the Leopards. And that one's through the right side for another base hit. That will score some insurance for Georgetown. 4-2 Hoyas, courtesy of the RBI single from Taylor Francis. After the Leopards scored 2 to open the game, it's been 4 unanswered for Georgetown. Gabby Park is the next up to try to keep the line moving. Park ended the second inning with the only strikeout of the day for Alvarez Backus. That ball's laced out towards left field. It is going to drop. Alborn couldn't play it cleanly. Johnson had to hold up, but she's on her way home. The throw is cut off, and now on their way to third base, and in there safely is Taylor Francis. She recognized nobody was playing at third because of the defensive rotation to cut the ball off from Alborn, and she just beat Alvarez Backus to third in a foot race, and credit Gabby Park, too, for having her head up and following her. So runners at second and third, and still only the one out. We'll see if it's ruled a hit or an error. It's probably going to be an E7. But Georgetown certainly won't care, as they have put up 3 runs here in the fourth inning. It's 5-2, and are far from done. Park driving home another run for the Hoyas, and excellent base running too. Strittmatter, Rebhan, and Johnson all in to score, then Francis being very aggressive, going first to third with the ball hit in front of her. Is going to be ruled an E7. And then because Harrington had to get over to back up the cutoff, there was nobody there at third, and Francis with her head up all the way just beat Alvarez Backus to the back. So here's the 7th batter of the inning, Nina Sarlo. First pitch is outside, and it's 1-0. Top of the order now as the Hoyas will go through the lineup card for the third time and really have a chance to break things open here in the fourth. 3-run cushion, and still 2 more in scoring position with less than 2 outs. Back up the middle. Runners watched back, and the throw to first is in time. Much needed second out for Alvarez Backus. And it'll be up to Claire Turner. 1 for 2 day for Turner so far. Know that the runners, Francis from third and Park at second, will both be off on contact. First pitch to Turner, up and away, and it's 1-0. You certainly don't want to load the bases for the ever-dangerous Naya Campos. So you'd imagine Alvarez Backus going to have really no choice but to go right at Claire Turner, who can really swing the bat herself. 1 ball and 1 strike after it's spoiled foul, but you certainly cannot afford in a 3-run game to face Campos with the bases loaded. 1 swing, she could completely bust this one wide open. So too, though, can Turner. 2 home runs on the season already for the Georgetown center fielder. The 1-1 is looped foul, and Alvarez Backus a strike away from stranding 2 in scoring position. Hoyas, though, out to their first lead of the day. 2 in the second, 3 here in the fourth. Slowly hit to the first base side and foul. We'll do it all over again. Claire Turner looking for her second consecutive multi-hit game. After 5 RBIs the last 2 games against DePaul, a chance to keep that moving as well. Another 1-2. It's a good stop from Klug. She didn't field it cleanly, but she kept it in front of her. Francis has already shown how aggressive she is on the base paths, keeping a watchful eye on all of those balls in the dirt from third. Another 2-2 cut on and missed. Turner flailing at a ball that dipped low and away from her, and the inning is over, but the damage is done. 3 runs here in the fourth inning for the Hoyas, and they take their first lead. It's 5-2 after 4. Lafayette looking to respond here in the 5th inning as they now trail 5-2. Hoyas with 3 runs in the bottom half of the 4th inning to grab their first lead of the contest, and Leopards will counter with 9-1-2 in the order, starting with Olivia Catalina. Takes a first pitch strike, and it's 0-1. You look back on that play in the 2nd inning as a really big one now. The play from Francis to get Catalina at the plate. After she tried to score from second on a ball looked destined to go up the middle, Francis knocked it down and threw home, and that one is hit right at Francis for the first out of the inning. If Catalina is able to score, that would have made it at the time a 3-0 Lafayette lead. Georgetown came right back and scored 2 in the bottom half of that inning to draw level. They haven't really looked back since. Top of the order now for the Leopards. Caroline Hall has reached base twice. 0-1. A walk in the first and a single in the second, but she hasn't really had the chance to run the bases much. Was cut down at second on a fielder's choice in the first inning after the walk, and then it was her single that Catalina got thrown out at home on to end the second. Quickly behind here, 0-2. So an odd line for Caroline Hall relative to the amount of time she spent on the base paths today. Collins working quickly at 0-2 is upstairs and outside. Emily Collins so far 4 1/3, 2 runs on 4 hits. She has walked 2, she has struck out 1. That's the inverse of her season ratio of strikeouts to walks, but has been able, after that first inning, to make sure the free passes haven't come back to haunt her. This ball is lifted in the air well to left field. Park on her way back, and she will make the catch with her back to the wall. Gabby Park had no more room to operate. But the GW softball field just holding Caroline Hall into the ballpark and denying her her 4th home run of the year. Here's Danny Rosner. Fielder's choice in the first. Led off the 3rd inning with a base hit. And we'll take a first pitch just downstairs for a ball. It's 1-0. Not all that often you see quasi-slap hitters in the number 3 spot. Rosner still has good power, 3 doubles on the season. Hits this one back up the middle. Collins knocks it down, finds it, throws to first in a good stretch from Strittmatter. And after the Hoyas score 3 in the bottom half of the 4th, Emily Collins keeps the momentum going for Georgetown with a 1-2-3 5th. On to the bottom half of the 5th inning, and a new pitcher for the Leopards. It's Andy Hegarty. Her 4th appearance out of the bullpen for Lafayette so far this year. 9.80 ERA, and the first pitch gets away from Klug to Campos, and it's 1-0. Hagerty, a freshman from Yonkers, New York, just outside of New York City. Over the weekend threw twice against Radford, and 2 pretty different outings. First of the 2 against the Highlanders, 5 earned runs, 2 more unearned runs in just 2 innings. Second time only threw 1 inning, but gave up just the 1 earned run on 2 hits. It's been a real up and down start for Hagerty. 3 balls and no strikes, and a lot of it comes down to whether or not she's able to keep her command. That outing against Radford, the 1 inning, was her first outing of the year where she did not walk a batter. Through just her first 15 innings, she has conceded 14 free passes. And now make it 15 in 15 plus as she puts Campos on to lead off the 5th. This is a pretty deep Leopard rotation. 6 different pitchers have thrown at least 15 innings, and nobody has thrown more than 36. I think Campos is going to get a pinch runner here. The Hoya is looking for some more insurance in the bottom half of the 5th. Looking to see who that is who is going to come on in to run as Kozo will bat. Danny Koo will be the one to run for Campos, who you'd imagine would re-enter should her spot in the order come up again, the DP. So 1 on and nobody out for Kozo, who led off the 4th inning with a double to really set the tone. It was a hustle inning for the Hoyas. It was a hustle double to left center field. Looked off the bat like it was going to be a clean single, but Kozo digging for 2 right out of the box. Was able to get in with a head first dive, and Hoya scored 3 runs to take the lead. Two hard hit balls for Kozo today. Hit the ball sharply right at Hall, the shortstop, and see if she gets anything to hit here as it's 6 straight balls out of the hand of Hagerty to start off her outing. Make it 7 straight off the plate as Andy Hagerty having all sorts of trouble finding the zone now. How is she able to bounce back and find her command? Well, just like that, and it's 3-1. 4 walks in just 2/3 of an inning against Penn State in the opener for her. 3 walks each against North Dakota State, Lemoyne, and Radford, and then without a free pass in that 1 inning against Radford last time out. The 3-1 bounced to the left side and foul, and all of a sudden the count's full. Hagerty has represented the nation of Ireland in the U18 European Championships, helped lead them to a bronze medal. It's a state runner-up as well at Hackley School in New York. The 3-2 is fouled away. We'll do it all over again. Set a Hackley School record with over 1,000 career strikeouts, 1,017. So if she is able to harness the command, sky is the limit for the young righty out of the bullpen. The 3-2 back up the middle. The throw will go to second base for 1. To first is in time, a double play. Andy Hagerty starting up a twin killing. And there's 2 gone here in the 5th. Score at 1-6-3. That ball was hit just hard enough. Kozo, standing at 6 feet, can really run with those long strides. But the ball was hit hard enough that it all developed quickly enough for the Hoyas. And the Leopards were able to make the most of it. And Hagerty comes back with a first pitch strike to strip matter. So you can sense the freshman kind of starting to get more and more confidence in real time. All of a sudden, it's 0-2 after she was down 3-0 to the count on Kozo. Was just able to find the zone, and then a nice little battle with the count full. And then a strong defensive play. The 0-2 is through the left side for a base hit, and strip matter is aboard with 2 gone in the 5th. the 9th hit of the day for Georgetown. And Brooke Rephand will bat next. The Hoyas can get one more hit here in the next couple of innings. It would make it 4 of the last 5 games with 10 or more hits. Rephand was thinking something to the gap with that swing as came up empty and it's 0-1. Strittmatter 3 for 3, by the way, after that latest hit. Good giddy up on the fastball from Hagerty, but it's just inside and it's 1-1. You can sense, though, that Hagerty way more confidence and way more comfort in the circle right now. And she had to start off the outing. The 1-1 is lifted deep to left field, all the way back and gone. Brooke Rephand with her 3rd home run of the season. And the Hoyas have broken it wide open here in the 5th. It's 7-2. 2-out, 2-run bomb for the second baseman. And it was an absolute no-doubter. 10th hit in style for the Hoyas. And after it looked like Hagerty might have had a way out of this 5th inning, the single from Strittmatter on a ball hit hard through the left side, and then Rephand got absolutely all of it. It's 200 down the line here at the GW softball field, and that one a little bit more to left center, easily clearing the wall. Here's Devin Johnson, who's had a really productive day too. First pitch to her is downstairs. Johnson is 2 for 2 with 2 runs driven in, and she's scored a run herself as well. A third of all of Johnson's RBIs this year have come in just this one game. The freshman from just down the road in Alexandria, Virginia, starting to get more and more confidence at the plate. Already has been excellent behind the plate defensively for Georgetown. Going in on her hands, and it's 2-1. At a St. John's College High School in Washington, D.C., one of the athletic powerhouses in the district. Across just about all sports. 7 unanswered from Georgetown after the 2 runs from Lafayette in the top half of the first. And it's 2-2 now after that one's fouled back. Taylor Francis on deck if the inning should keep on rolling for Georgetown, whose offense is still rolling. And remember, this is just the first of 2 games between the Hoyas and the Leopards. Second game will be about 25 or so minutes after the conclusion of the first. The 2-2 bounced foul to the backstop, and we'll do it all over again. You can see for Hagerty the stuff that's there and the talent that's there. There's excellent life on the fastball. Good defense as well. But there will still be some growing pains for the New Yorker. The count runs full. It's an exciting prospect for Kellender Kraushaar and the rest of this Lafayette coaching staff. There will still be some things to tinker with along the way. 3-2, slowly hit to the third baseman, Harrington, and she was unable to field it cleanly. Even if she does, I don't know if there's a play at first. Johnson runs well for a catcher, and that ball was just tapped to the third baseman. So after Rephand hits it a long way, Johnson hits it not far at all, but she finds her way aboard all the same. And so here is Francis. Hagerty taking something off of that in a big way. All of a sudden, the potential run rule game-ending run is on deck in the form of Gabby Park. After this looked to be a really tight affair through the first 3. Leopards scored 2 in the first inning. Hoyas responded with 2 in the second, 3 in the fourth, 2 so far here in the 5th. The 1-1. Not for the first time today. Hoya's fighting with 2 outs. Haggerty just hasn't been able to put away these Hoya's batters with 2 strikes, or with 2 outs for that matter. All of these 5th inning runs have come with the 2 away, 3 straight hits. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Johnson mentioned with good speed to leg out the infield hit. Don't think she's going to be a threat to run here, though, with 2 strikes and 2 outs. That ball's to the right side and over the head of Rosner, a base hit. Going station to station is Johnson. Make it 4 consecutive hits, including the home run, with 2 outs. And now here's Gabby Park. Park, as we mentioned, representing what would be theoretically a run rule implementing game-ending run. Not a massive power threat. If she's able to keep the hit parade going, top of the order is coming up next. First pitch is downstairs, it's 1-0. Park struck out back in the 2nd inning. Reached back in the 4th. Pops this one in the air, left center field. Catalina will call for it and make the catch to end the inning. But Brooke Rebhan with a 2-out, 2-run homer. And the Hoyas have their largest lead of the day at 7-2. The hill to climb for the Leopards has gotten higher as we move to the 6th. 3-4-5 due up, though, for Lafayette. The chance to respond to 7 unanswered runs for Georgetown. As we move into the 6th inning, Katie Harrington first pitch swinging and popping up to the right side. Brooke Rebhan is there, and 1 pitch and 1 out for Emily Collins. Collins has really settled into this game. Make that 8 in a row retired for the Hoya starter after it was a tumultuous beginning to the outing. Sophomore has been able to figure out this Leopards team the 2nd time through. Now into the 3rd time through the order. Kylie Sweet taking downstairs. That's 1-0. Sweet 0 for 1 with a hit by a pitch. Really the linchpin for this whole Leopards offense. Ava Butler awaiting on deck. One's off the plate and it's 2-0. The OPS for Kylie Sweet just under 1,000, 993. The most potent hitter in the Leopards order. That's a good pitch to Challenger, though, right in on the hands, and it's 2-1. Last season, the OPS leader in the Patriot League had a mark of 1,164. 2-1 offering to Sweet. Hits one out towards the shortstop, Francis. And there's 2 away. if the OPS stays exactly where it is right now for the rest of the season for Sweet, which is unlikely, it won't move at all. But that would put her in 7th place from last year's stats. Brooke DePeace had a great year for BU, the presumptive favorite again this year in the Patriot League. But Sweet, the kind of year that would put her towards the top of the league, if the stats are similar across the board from last year to this. Here's Ava Butler taking one way upstairs. It is now 9 in a row, sat down by Collins after Sweet's hit by pitch was the last to reach. Better spot from Collins again, right in on the hands of these righty hitters. Makes it really difficult with the velocity to get the bat head out early enough to pull the ball. And if you can't, then you're going to be jammed and hitting it softly in the air the other way. And take something off of it low and away. That's a good take, though, from Butler. 2 balls and a strike. Leopards trying to build some momentum before they get into Patriot League play for the first time in their first home games of the year at Easton this weekend. It is against those same BU Terriers. Tough draw for Lafayette to start out the conference slate with the conference favorites. 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday in Easton to open up Patriot League play. 2-2 here, though, to Butler. Hit to the left side and past Francis for a base hit. The first hit for the Leopards since the opening batter of the 3rd. Life for Lafayette here in the 6th. At least keep things going for Reagan Dillon, who's got a fly out and a ground out. Good mix of outs recorded on the ground and in the air for Collins, who still has just the 1 strikeout. Collins doesn't overly rely on the strikeouts, but she hasn't had an outing of at least 1 full inning in which she's had fewer than 2 strikeouts. Had just the 2 in 6 innings against UNC Wilmington. But usually if she's going 5, 6 innings deep into a game, the strikeouts are hovering around 4 or 5. A lot of soft contact today. Ball and a strike now to Dillon. Five outs recorded in the air, 7 so far on the ground. And the 1 strikeout. That one is downstairs, and it's 2-1, and then her defense has been able to come up with some other big outs as well. Two one. Line through the left side and back-to-back hits for the first time today for Lafayette. After the 2-out rally for the Hoyas in the bottom half of the 5th, Leopards coming back, but their backs against the wall here in the 6th. Maggie Klug will bat next. Klug with a couple of ground outs. 1 to third and 1 to second. The catcher, who has been excellent today defensively, has already thrown out Claire Turner back behind the plate. Try to help out the Leopards where they need it now at the moment on offense. Another first pitch strike for Collins. She has really made a habit out of that. Hasn't had to work into too many 2-0, 3-1 counts today. And now she's ahead, 0-2. So Klug really has to protect the plate here as Collins looks to get out of the first real jam since the 3rd. The 0-2. Lined out towards right field, hit well, but Kozo has a beat on it and makes the catch to end the inning. Leopards strand 2 with 2 outs. And Collins is through 6 innings of 2-run softball. Hoya's looking for some more insurance on the other side in D.C. Top of the order for the Hoyas here in the 6th inning, and a chance to tack on a couple of more before heading to the final frame. Nina Sarlo and Claire Turner, Naya Campos, those due up for the Hoyas. Sarlo has not joined in on the offensive party today despite being in the leadoff spot. 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts. To third, to second, and then back up the middle to the pitcher. Andy Haggerty is back out there for her 2nd inning of work. Looked as though she might have had a way out of that 5th inning. That ball's hit well into left center field. It is going to get down past the diving Catalina and all the way to the wall. Sarlo is in standing up with a 6th inning leadoff double. So no more concerns about Sarlo getting some FOMO from the hit parade. Every Hoya has now found a way aboard in some form or fashion. For Turner, it was a single back in the 3rd. So the Californian will bat with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. First pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. The extra base hits have come back to hurt Andy Haggerty so far today, and that's been a concern for her all season long so far, as Turner bunts one to the first base side, and the play at first is made just in time. That will move the runner to third with less than 2 outs. Sarlo nearly blew a tire as she rounded third, was able to get back in time. So job done for Claire Turner. And now it'll be up to Campos, who does re-enter after Koo pinch ran for her. Infield playing in for Campos, and the first pitch is in there for a strike. It's 0-1. It's now 9 extra base hits in 15, I think it's 16 and a third innings. For Haggerty, that's 1 for just about fact. Just not really a sustainable rate for Haggerty. The action in the Leopard bullpen would, you'd imagine, be in advance of game number 2, which is coming up only about 25 minutes after this one is concluded. That one, this is a little bit low and outside. Marissa Powell is the one who is getting ready, so can anticipate that perhaps we will see her in game 2, perhaps to start. Does have tied for the most starts of Eddie Leopard, as that ball is hit well to center field and deep and back and gone. Naya Campos with her 5th home run of the season. And the Hoyas have scored 9 unanswered. And it's a 9-2 ball game. A 2-run blast for Campos, as Georgetown with another extra base hit here today. And that is the power that the Hoyas were missing when Campos was unavailable. 4 extra base hits now for the Hoyas this afternoon. 2 doubles, 2 homers. And it's a 7-run game. Now here is Kozo. Any extra runs tacked on here in the 6th would end the game a bit prematurely. 7 runs in the last 3 frames for the Hoyas. That one's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Leopards got off to such a strong start. The 2 runs in the top half of the 1st inning after dropping both of those games against George Mason down the road yesterday. It looked as though they were ready to turn the page. But the Hoya offense has responded and then some. And credit Emily Collins as well. She won't be the main headline. It won't again be the Georgetown offense. But after Collins struggled in the 1st, she's been excellent in the back half of the game, especially. That run of 9 in a row retired. Was able to strand those 2 runners in the 6th inning as well. Gave her team a real chance. And the Hoyas offense has taken that chance with both hands. 9 runs, 14 hits. The last 3 games, Georgetown has scored 36 runs. The 3-2 rather is swung on and missed. And Kozo is down on strikes at the first punch out of the day for Hagerty. That'll win you a lot of softball games when you score that many runs at that kind of pace. "41 hits the last 3 games as well. The offense has come alive just at the time of year that you want to do so. Conference play. Similarly to the spot that Lafayette is in, welcoming their conference favorite to town this weekend, so too are the Hoyas. St. John's coming down to DC this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, noon starts for all 3 games. 2-0 cut on and missed, and it's 2-1. So both of these teams looking for momentum before their toughest tests of the conference slate, at least on paper. And this is exactly what you would have had in mind if you're Carla Ross in Georgetown. 2-1 is cut on and missed to Strittmatter, and it's 2-2. Lafayette trying to do something they haven't done all day, which is get Emily Strittmatter out. She's 3 for 3 with a trio of singles. Count runs full to her. Rep hand on deck, hit the ball a long way last time she was up. You know, Hagerty would love to go and get Strittmatter here. The payoff pitch is cut on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Andy Hagerty, but Naya Campos goes deep to add 2 more runs onto the Hoyas tally. We head to the 7th. Leopards need 7 here in DC. On to the 7th inning. Now for Georgetown, a chance to wrap things up, get themselves back over 500 again, and move to 8-7 on the season before we reset the scoreboard and do it all over again. For Lafayette, they'll have to get something going in a hurry here against a new pitcher for Georgetown. It's Allison Liu, who will be in the circle for the 7th. So Collins' day likely done. And the freshman from California, Allison Liu, will pitch for the first time in her Hoya career. First pitch is off the mark, and it's 1-0 to Emma Alburn. Liu had a high school career ERA of 2.5. Top 200 in the state of California in total strikeouts as a junior in high school at Notre Dame. Excellent life on the fastball. And it's 2-0. A memorable moment here for Allison Liu as Emily Collins' day, at least her game 1 at the very least, is done. 6 innings, 2 runs on 6 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Count is 2-1 on Alburn now, who might have taken too much time. They're trying trying to sort that out. So Albert trying to settle things down now. Strikeout and a ground out for the left fielder. And now home plate umpire going and having a chat with the Georgetown dugout. Making sure everyone's on the same page. I think they actually called that clock violation against Liu. So it's a 3-1 count now. Allison Liu delivers the 3-1. That is at the knees, and the count is full. Chance for a memorable start to the career of Allison Liu. With the count full on Alborn. The payoff is in there for a called second strike. That was a 3-1 offering. My apologies. The scoreboard here at GW Softball Field is all over the place. And so now the count is full. I beg your pardon. The 3-2 is off the mark. And Liu has walked Alborn to start things off. So now here's Catalina. There was some confusion as to whom that pitch clock violation was on, or that pitch timing violation was on. I suppose it was on Liu. So here is Catalina now. Walk and a line out for her today. The number 9 hitter rounding out the order for the third time. Emily Collins won't have a chance for her second complete game. Now the first base umpire going to go and have a chat with Liu. Perhaps something about her motion that isn't sitting right with some of the officiating crew here. Might to give the freshman a notice of it before start handing out free passes. First base umpire informing the Hoya dugout of what it is that he just told the Georgetown pitcher. The 1-0 from Liu to Catalina. In there on the inside edge, it's 1-1. If you're the Leopards, you can't get all 7 back right now, but a leadoff base runner, good place to start. Your back's against the wall here. Able to hold up her swing with Catalina, it's 2-1. Even if you can't get them all back here, you drop this game, chance to start to get the bats humming before game 2. Which, if this game does end in the 7th, we're looking at somewhere around a 4:30 Eastern time start, give or take. That one is off the inside edge, it's 3-1. Leopards trying to make sure we start game 2 a lot later, though. Looking for a big time rally here in the 7th. Bounced out towards the shortstop, Francis. Only play is going to be at first, and she makes it. One gone here is Francis with another solid defensive play. She has had an excellent afternoon with the glove. Not bad either with the bat, too. 2 singles and an RBI, but really standout defensive play. That was the biggest question mark for Georgetown from last year, was who is going to fill really the only loss on the offensive end. Sammy Fenton, the grad student from Penn, knew she was only going to have 1 year as the everyday shortstop for the Hoyas last year. And they were able to come back and find Taylor Francis, and she has not missed a beat. The freshman from New Jersey slotting into that spot very nicely, but other than that, Georgetown, in terms of the position players, have returned just about everybody. There were 10 players last year with 50 or more at-bats, and the Hoyas returned 9 of them, with only Fenton the 1 loss. Which in this day and age is very impressive and very indicative of what Carla Ross is building with this Hoya program. The 2-0 well upstairs and outside, 3-0. However, juxtapose all the returners and the position players from all the losses and the pitchers. Collins, the starter today, threw an inning and a third last year. She had the most returning innings of any on this Georgetown pitching staff. 3-0 is upstairs in the second walk of this seventh inning. We'll put runners at first and second for Danny Rosner. Catherine Larson, another freshman of the pitching staff for Georgetown. We expect we might see her in game number 2. And then Liu, another freshman. And then you have Marina Egbert, who could also see time in this second game. She's a grad transfer from Division III NYU. Avery Wismer, last year a senior, gone. Kayla Dunn, last year a senior, gone, and now an assistant coach at Division II UT Dallas. Sage Hager, a grad student last year, gone. Julia Parker, a grad student last year, gone. It is a complete turnover in terms of the pitching staff for Georgetown. A lot of exciting young arms for the Hoyas to work with, including Lou, who is trying to put the cap on this game. Missed the first pitch to Rosner, though, and it's 1-0. Rosner reaching a fielder's choice in the first, single in the third, ground out to end the fifth. It's this one softly to the right side. Could be trouble, and everyone's going to be safe. Rebhan didn't rotate over quick enough. I think she thought Strittmatter was going to take it to the bag herself. But Rosner, with excellent speed, especially out of that lefty batter's box, was able to leg out the infield hit, and the bases are full of Leopards here in the seventh. This Lafayette team not going away. And a visit to the circle just to try to calm things down. Bases loaded with the ball having not yet left the infield here in the inning. 2 walks and an infield hit. Katie Harrington will be the next batter for the Leopards. She had that big RBI double in the first inning, but then Emily Collins was able to neutralize her each of the next 2. And Allison Liu with what is so far a rocky debut, but still with plenty of leeway to work with. So here is Harrington, and then Kylie Sweet on deck with all of her power. First offering to Harrington. Off the plate, and it's 1-0. Liu has to force the Leopards to get the bat off their shoulder. Cannot afford to give free bases at this stage of the game, even with the lead being what it is. Better response, and it's 1-1. How important now is that Rebhan, or rather that Campos, I should say, home run in the 6th inning to make it from a 7-2 game to a 9-2 game, although unsure if the lead is only 5 if Collins doesn't get back out there to start the 7th. 2 balls and a strike. Leopards dugout trying to help Katie Harrington along. She faces this 2-1. Liu needs to find the strike zone with nowhere to put the Leopard third baseman. It's bounced into the Leopards dugout, and it's 2-2. And again, Liu with a chance for her first career collegiate strikeout. This would be a good time for it, although the Hoyas would be more than happy to trade it out for a run at this spot. Two. Harrington was not sitting off speed, but she was able to get just a piece of it and stay alive in the at-bat. It's a good emergency swing from Harrington to fight to see another. Stayed really far back. Another 2-2. It gets away from the catcher Johnson, and a run's going to score. Everybody moving up a base. Yeah, it's 9-3. So first base now open. Coming home to score is Alborn. And the count full on Harrington. The payoff pitch to the Leopard third baseman. Swung on and missed. First career collegiate strikeout for Allison Liu, and there's 2 gone here in the 7th. Big time second out of the inning, and a big response as well after the wild pitch. Scored the run. It's now up to Kylie Sweet. If she's able to reach the tying run, would move on deck. A 1. Slowly hit, could be trouble. Liu will flip to first base in time. Allison Liu in her collegiate debut with a little bit of trouble in the 7th, but able to get through it, and the Hoyas win it 9-3. They scored 9 unanswered runs and used a pair of 2-run blasts from Brooke Rebhead and Naya Campos with 7 runs in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, and were able to hold on in the 7th for the first game of 2 as they move to 8-7 on the season, and the Leopards drop to 6-19. Game number 2 will be coming up at roughly 4:30 Eastern time. We will step aside until then. For everybody here at Hoya Vision, my name is Ben Curtis saying so long and see you real soon. One more time, your final score, Georgetown wins it 9-3. Hoya softball is once again on the air. We welcome you to the GW softball field here in Washington, D.C. for the second half of this doubleheader between the Lafayette Leopards and the Georgetown Hoyas. Ben Curtis here with you live from Washington, D.C. after Georgetown took the first game by the score of 9-3. We're just about ready to go for game number 2. Marina Egbert, the starting pitcher for the second game for the Hoyas, is ready to go and delivers the first pitch upstairs and outside for ball number 1. This is the third start of the year for Egbert, the most experienced pitcher on the Georgetown staff. Just the third start of the year, but 5 appearances out of the pen already here in 2026 for the grad student, former NYU Violet at the Division III level of the NCAA. 3.79 ERA on the campaign here in 2026 at the D1 level. So Georgetown looking to get to 2 games above 500, 8-7 now on the season. Lafayette coming into this one now at 6-19. Leopards have dropped 5 in a row. It is Caroline Hall who will lead things off. Full disclosure, we are still trying to dot all the I's and cross all the T's in terms of making sure we have correct what the lineup cards are. But you know that is Caroline Hall at the plate. And it takes one outside and the count's 2-2. Hall in game number 1 was 1 for 2 with a pair of walks. Already a 2-strike count for Egbert to work with. This ball's in the air into right center field. Abby Kozo is there to make the play. And there's one away. Kozo had a couple of really nice plays defensively in game number 1. Those long strides for the 6-foot even right fielder. Getting the first out of this game number 2. Egbert, good strikeout pitcher when she has it going. Limited the walks very well as well. First pitch is in their first strike, and it's 0-1. Just 6 walks for Egbert in now 20 2/3 innings. Trying to keep that going again here today. We'll see how long Egbert is able to go. She has thrown all 7 innings once against these same Lafayette Leopards. Back on February the 20th down in Wilmington, North Carolina. That hit the knob of the bat. And the count is 1-1. The batter, Danny Rosner, the senior, was in the 2-hole for game number 1, and she is again in game number 2, the senior transfer from Colgate. Spent 2 years with the Raiders and then transferred in the Patriot League. Now in year number 2 with Lafayette. Not all that often you see in-conference transfers, although becoming a little bit more and more popular in the new age of the transfer portal, I suppose. It's this one towards the right side. Strittmatter will pick it up in foul ground. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rosner, 2 for 3 in the first half of the doubleheader. Also reached on a fielder's choice. Leopards scored the first 2 runs of the game in game number 1. Came in the top half of the first inning against Emily Collins. Georgetown then scored 9 unanswered. Lafayette got 1 back in the 7th inning, but it wasn't enough. Hoyas won it 9-3 to avoid falling under 500 for what would have been the first time since the opening game of the season. Meanwhile, Leopards, as I mentioned, their losing streak is now down to 5 games in a row. That one is just off the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now to Rosner. Rosner came into the day with just a 1 for 10 record the last 3 games at the plate. He's worked the count full, though. Better patient at-bats here today in D.C. And then against George Mason just down the road against the Patriots in the A-10 yesterday. And the Leopards dropped both games of a doubleheader only 1 day ago. Got a piece of that one as well. The count stays right where it is. Batting average hovering right around 170 entering play today for Rosner. Has not been above 200 since the end of February. It takes the 3-2 downstairs, and a one-out walk to Rosner is the first base runner of this game number 2. The first base runner now for Marina Egbert to have to deal with. Again, this Leopards offense is not one that will steal too many bases so far this season. They don't really have an offense predicated on that, but Rosner with good speed over there at first base. Now the first offering from Egbert with one on and one out. Bounced out towards the third baseman. Long throw across the diamond is moot because it's a foul ball. And so it is 0-1. Nina Sarlo has played an excellent third base over the course of the 2 games today. Katie Harrington, the batter, bounces this one foul to the third base side again and moves to 0-2. Going to be important for Egbert to get ahead of batters. Mix speeds, change eye levels of hitters. Yeah, on this Wednesday afternoon in D.C., temperatures starting to dip down back under 40 degrees. This is the spring break trip for Lafayette against Radford down in Virginia, then George Mason, and now Georgetown here in D.C., but certainly doesn't feel like all that springtime. The equinox only days away, and you wouldn't know it. Harrington rips one out to left field. That'll get down for a base hit. 2 aboard here in the first, as once again, the Leopards threatening in the opening frame just as they did earlier on today. Harrington with the first hit to the outfield of the ball game. So they are set up here, the Leopards are. For the cleanup hitter, Kylie Sweet. Sweet, we talked about in game 1 with the best numbers of anybody on this Lafayette team. First pitch is in their first strike, and it's 0-1. Reached only on a hit by pitch in the 3rd inning of the first game. Didn't really have big breakout moments that you perhaps would have expected. The big signature moment. Now behind 0-2. Trying to get you the defense for Georgetown as well. In the outfield, it's Kozo in right, Turner in center, and Park in left. Sarlo is at third. Francis at short, Rebhand at second, Stripmatter at first. The catcher again is Johnson as this one's out towards the second baseman. That's Rebhand, everyone back to their bags. And there are 2 away. So no defensive changes from game 1 to game 2 for Georgetown. Carla Ross thinking if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now here is Ava Butler. It is in fact unchanged starting lineups for both of these 2 sides from game 1 to game 2, with the only changes being the starting pitchers. So Butler, the right fielder's batting average hovering right around 200. Good day in game 1 though, 2 for 3 with an RBI. The Leopards trying to match their strong start from earlier on today here again in the first inning. Georgetown then scored 2 in the bottom half of the second. 7 combined between the 4th through 6th innings, including 2-run homers from Brooke Rebhand and Naya Campos. Egbert brings home the 1-0. Downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. The command is really going to be what decides this outing for Marina Egbert, as it so often has in the early part of her Georgetown season. Able to find some of that command, and it's 2-1. Butler with Reagan Dillon to follow. 7 runs driven in on the season for Butler. Now has 2 strikes on her. Maggie Klug, Emma Alborn, Olivia Catalina, the rest of the order. And Marina Egbert looking for a way out of this first inning. Payoff pitch. Downstairs, and the bases are full of Leopards here in the first inning for Reagan Dillon. the DP, in the game exclusively for her bat at the moment. And the junior from Texas in a big spot here in just the first. Chance once again for the Leopards to go out in front. Takes the first pitch outside. There is nowhere to put Reagan Dillon. Marina Egbert trying to navigate around this traffic. Has largely been self-inflicted. 1-0. Hit hard but foul. Down the third base line, a ball and a strike. Georgetown looking to make it 3 of 4 against Lafayette over the course of the season. These two teams split a couple of games down in Wilmington, North Carolina in neutral site games. One. Waiting on it was Dillon, and she was fooled. Ball and 2 strikes now, and Egbert can see the light perhaps at the end of this first inning tunnel. Can't expand the strike zone too much with the runner at third base. I have Trustin Devin Johnson back behind the plate. The 3-2 is swung on and missed. And Marina Egbert works herself into and then back out of trouble in the top half of the first. And as we just get going in game number 2, it's the Leopards nothing and the Hoyas coming to that here in DC. Bottom of the first inning, just getting going here in game number 2 of this doubleheader here in our nation's capital. Not a cloud in the sky to be found, but the temperatures continuing to drop as Nina Sarlo goes after the first pitch and pops it up to shortstop. 1 pitch and 1 out for a good start for Parker Roden in the circle today for the Leopards, making her 5th start of the season. Lowest ERA of anybody on the staff for Lafayette, 4.26. Just 12 strikeouts to 19 walks. Not the best strikeout to walk ratio, but she's been able to get out of the traffic that she has allowed. That ERA under 4.5. Takes the first pitch for a strike, does Claire Turner, and it's 0-1. Chesapeake, Virginia native is Parker Roden. And Great Bridge High School in her 3rd year now with this Lafayette team. Ball and a strike to Turner. Very dangerous with the speed is Turner, but already once today in game number 1, Maggie Klug was able to catch her stealing. 1 for 4 day for Turner in game number 1. 1-1 offering is lifted out towards right field, and quickly there are 2 away. Good start for Parker Roden with a couple of balls in the air for early outs. It'll be up to Naya Campos, who last time up in game number 1 hit a 2-run bomb over the left center field wall. Absolute no-doubter. First offering to Campos here is taken low and away for ball 1. Roden has seen the Hoyas before in those games down in North Carolina, just one of them, that 7-5 Leopard win. She gave up 3 earned runs in 6 innings, allowed 7 hits. She struck out 1 and walked 3. Her offense picked her up in a big way. Campos hits one back to the screen. It's a ball and a strike. There are 100 pitches in that game. Gave up the 3 doubles, but was able to avoid the one real big swing. The 2 home runs in game number 1 telling a big part of the story for Georgetown. And that's one thing that Roden's been able to avoid. She has not given up a home run yet all season. 12 doubles, the 1 triple, but has kept the ball in the ballpark. Campos can hit it out of the yard as well as anyone, though, across the Big East. The 2-1 is lifted foul. It'll get out of play in a harmless way for Roden. She's a strike away from 1-2-3 inning. Carbon copies of game number 1, with the exception that Lafayette this time couldn't capitalize on their early chance. There's the gate open in left center field, so they're going to have to go and swing that closed. I think the wind just blew that left center field gate that you can use to get in and out of the ballpark. Blew it wide open, and so they're working on how to close it, and they haven't really figured it out yet. How many Lafayette Leopard outfielders does it take to close a wall is the question. I think there's a latch that is not really being latched at the moment. So that's what the slight delay is. The wind is really starting to be a factor more in game 2 already than it was in game 1. It's blowing out towards right field, which will excite the lefty power hitters like Campos. There's a couple of reinforcements on this great grounds crew and operations team at the GW softball field who are going over to give the Leopard outfielders a hand. So Parker Roden 1 strike away from getting out of the inning, and now you kind of have to do a little mini up-down. Long extended delay here to get that wall sorted. For Campos, a longer opportunity to sit and think about how to approach this 2-2 count. It looks for the moment like we're in good shape. The wall is closed. It hasn't really drifted back open. I think they're just testing it to make sure. That's what the delay is at the moment. The gate in the left center field wall that extends onto the road here at the Mount Vernon campus is not fully closed. We continue to have people go on down to the scene and try to sort things out. No MacGyvering necessary, it looks like, but we are still not yet back to softball. Reminder that Georgetown is back in action this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Noon starts against the conference favorite St. John's. I think we got our gate ready to go. And we're going to get back to softball here. 2-2 with 2 outs to Naya Campos as it looks like the wall is fully sorted. And the 2-2 to Campos. It's just off the plate. Count is full as the lights come on here in DC, nearing 5 o'clock Eastern time. Still plenty of daylight left to play with too. Payoff pitch to Campos is upstairs, and after the little bit of a delay, Roden with a bit of trouble finding the zone, and the Hoyas have their first base runner of game 2. They'll extend the inning for Abby Kozo. Kozo with a double back in the 4th inning of game number 1, grounded into a double play in the 5th as well. It looked like Hagerty had a chance to get out of that inning then, but then the trouble came with the 2-run homer to Brooke Rephan, and that really blew the game open. 0-1 Kozo off of her fists, and it's 0-2. Last time out for Parker Roden against East Tennessee State, 5 innings in a loss. Gave up just 1 earned run, though, and then bullpen gave up 6 runs in the last couple of frames. Bounced right back towards Roden. Underhand flip to first in time to end the inning. Through 1, no score here in Game 2. On our way to the second inning here, no score between the Hoyas and Leopards. Game 2 of this doubleheader, and the Hoyas looking for a sweep here on this chilly Wednesday afternoon. 1 ball and no strikes to Maggie Klug, the catcher. 0 for 3 in Game 1 with a pair of groundouts and a flyout. Final offering to her is downstairs, and it is 2-0. For Marina Egbert, part of that NYU program that has struggled to really pick up wins at the D3 level. A California native with plenty of talent. Making a jump up from D3 to D1, there is, I think, kind of a misconception about how big that gap is, not only in softball, but across all sports. There's a variety of reasons why athletes end up at the D2 or the D3 level compared to D1. Oftentimes it's academics. When you get a school like NYU and the academic options that provides, hard to turn down. Sometimes if you want to be closer to home, there's a specific program that you're in that you like from an athletics or academic side. A myriad of reasons as to why you end up at the D2 or D3 level besides you're just not talented enough. I think that's why the jumps from D2 to D3 across the transfer portal to Division I haven't really surprised a lot of people. Because the gap is really small. There is talent absolutely everywhere you look. Sometimes all you have to do is do the work to go and find it. 2-2. Or rather, that was a 3-2 is downstairs. Scoreboard having some issues. And so too is the command of Marina Egbert a bit here in this one. So leadoff walk to Klug will send Emma Alborn to the plate. She walked for her only time reaching base to start a 7th inning, in which Leopards got one back against Alyssa Liu, who was making her collegiate debut. Gave up 1 run, but that was it. With a 9-2 lead when she came into the game, had a little bit of room with which to work. Able to leave a couple of runners stranded on base and close out the victory. Included her first career collegiate strikeout. What a moment that was for Alyssa Liu. Milestone for sure. There'll be a visit at the circle here as the Hoyas will try to talk things over, and Amelia Leck will have a chat with The pitcher Marina Egbert-Leck in her first year on Carla Ross's staff. In her first year coaching Division I softball, came from Southern Union State Community College. She played at Auburn and Maryland, so knows the DMV area well. Be very helpful the recruiting side of things. Hoyas also recruit heavily from the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, as well as a pretty strong California, West Coast in general presence on this team, including Claire Turner. Everyday center fielder for the Hoyas, who has become one of the mainstays on this team and one of the leaders on this team. Count is 2-0 to Emma Alborn, who is still looking for her first hit of the season. She is now 0 for 13. Offering. It's upstairs, and it is 3-0. Mentioned towards the top of the broadcast, as goes Egbert's command, so goes her performance. And so far, doing a lot of the Leopards' jobs for them. The 3-0 green light softly hit to strip matter. She'll take it to the bag herself. And there's one gone here in the second. Interesting decision to give Alburn the green light on 3-0. Player who, as I mentioned, is still looking to get off the schneid this year. A chance to get a pitch that she could swing at, but she just hit it off the end of her bat. Does move the runner into scoring position for the number 9 hitter, Olivia Catalina. First offering to Catalina is on the inside corner for a strike. Catalina has driven in 3 runs this year. Batting average at around 160. Top of the order, though, looming on deck in Caroline Hall. 0-1, fouled back to the screen, and Egbert this time working ahead. 0-2. That was something Emily Collins did very well in her start earlier on today. Okay, ahead of batters, first pitch strikes, 0-2 counts, 1-2 counts. Egbert's had to play a lot of catch-up here so far in her outing. But ahead here, 0-2. Stands up Johnson, and it's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. And 2-2 now as Catalina working the count back even. Good at-bats here from the Leopards, even with 2 strikes in game number 1. They fought off pitches. They didn't go away. Difficult to strike out. But Egbert able to get the strikeout here of Catalina. And there's 2 away. Be up to Caroline Hall to avoid a situation in which the Leopards strand 4 runners, including 3 in scoring position in the first 2 innings. Egbert working herself into trouble again, trying to work herself back out of it. This time another first pitch strike. Back-to-back good starts for Egbert on Caroline Hall. Was driven in 11 runs. That's second on the team. The 0-1. Bounced off of herself and foul, and again Egbert way ahead in the count here, 0-2. And you can expand the strike zone down a little bit more with the runner at second base than you could with the runner at third. The 0-2 offering. Upstairs. Ball and 2 strikes. Leopards looking to get out in front here in inning number 2, the 1-2 offering. Went off speed that time, 2-2, and Egbert can't make the mistake of not throwing competitive pitches until it gets to 2-2, 3-2. All of a sudden then Hall's right back in the at-bat. Very disciplined hitter. Now's the 2-2. Bounce slowly out towards Sarlo at third. Tough play. Not going to be in time. Infield hit on the swinging bunt for Caroline Hall. And there's runners at the corners for Danny Rosner. Nina Sarlo did just about everything right that time. But as soon as it took that second bounce, the leadoff hitter, Hall, utilizing all that speed, was always going to get to first. It'll be up to Rosner here. She walked herself back in the first inning, and the Leopards left the bases full. First pitch is in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Two sides of the coin. One, it's good that Egbert continuing to have experience getting out of tough situations. It hasn't really been terribly clean for her so far here today. 1-1. That one is low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Seems as though especially the top part of this order, seeing the ball very well. Mentioned that this Leopards team's been difficult to strike out. They struggled with that a lot earlier in the season than they have as of late. They've really limited the last couple of games. Earlier on today in game number 1, just 2 strikeouts. They haven't struck out more than 5 times in a game since March the 8th. It's been 7 straight with 5 or fewer. 3-1 tapped foul. That will start the runner from first and Hall with the count full. Anything into the gaps, could score 2. Rosner battling here against Egbert, and the payoff pitch. Spoiled foul to the third base side screen, and we'll do it all over again. Hall really getting a good jump, timing up Egbert very well. You know that she will have a real chance to score if anything gets over the head of an outfielder. 3-2 as well upstairs for ball 4, and for the second straight inning, the Leopards have loaded the bases. And it will be up to Katie Harrington. Had the first big swing of the game in the opening contest of this afternoon. RBI double. Get the Leopards their first run. Double here could clear the bases. First pitch down the right field line and out of play. So again, Egbert out in front. Gotten into much more of a habit of that here in the second inning than in the first. But some of the issues have still persisted. Good stop from Johnson. She had to slide from left to right. And was able to keep it in front of her. The runner at third base. Here's the 1-1. To the left side, Francis knocks it down. She won't have a play. It's an infield hit. And the game's first run for Lafayette. Katie Harrington drives it in as Maggie Klug comes home and scores. Francis probably saved a run with a sliding stop, but nobody was able to find a play at any base. And probably a good idea from Francis not to try to force something and throw that ball away. Johnson goes and has a quick chat with Egbert as Lafayette strikes first here in the top half of the second inning. They're still far from out of the woods with Kylie Sweet coming to the plate. Mentioned Kylie Sweet hasn't really had that signature moment yet here in this doubleheader. Chance for it here. Fouls it off of herself. It's 0-1. Couple of times Marina Egbert had a chance to get out of it. 2 strike count on Caroline Hall. 2 strike count on Danny Rosner. And then on a 1-1 pitch, Harrington with the infield hit to the shortstop. This ball's out towards left center field. Park has a beat on it, though, and makes the catch to end the inning. Leopards strike first and lead it 1-0. Emily Strittmatter to lead off the second inning as the Hoyas chase the game 1-0 after an infield RBI hit from Katie Harrington in the second inning, and Parker Roden now for the first time has a lead with which to work. Hoyas had a 2-out walk from Naya Campos in the first inning, couldn't do anything with it. Well, that's a bases loaded situation again for the Leopards. Had a chance to really blow this game open, but 6 runners already left on base through just the first 2 innings as Strittmatter hits it to center field, and there's 1 away. So another first leadoff batter retired. That's 2 for 2 now for Parker Roden in that department. Defense, by the way, for the Leopards, that's Catalina in center field who just made that play. Ava Butler is in right. Left fielder Emma Alborn. Katie Harrington at third. Caroline Hall at shortstop. Danny Rosner at second base. Kylie Sweet at first. And behind the plate again is Klug. Want to know to Brooke Rebhan. Had a big 2-run blast in game number 1. Hits this one well to left center field. Catalina gets over to cut it off. And it's the first hit of game 2 for the Hoyas. Comes with 1 out here in the second. Really solid day for Brooke Rebhan. She's seeing the ball very well. And it'll set up Devin Johnson with 1 on and 1 out. Johnson takes the first pitch up and away. Ball 1 to the catcher. He's got a busy, grueling day. 14 innings back behind the plate. Good day in game 1 at the plate as well. 3 for 3 with a pair of RBIs. Takes that one inside and it's 2-0. Chance for an immediate response for the Hoyas. The Leopards scored in the first inning. Georgetown waited until the bottom of the second inning in the first game until they scored their first runs. Johnson slices one to the first base side. Will that stay in play? Yes, it will. Snow cone catch over at first from Kylie Sweet for the second out of the inning. Sweet had to navigate the screen. Her teammate, Rosner, who was coming over as well, and go and find the ball. And she did all of that. And now it'll be up to Taylor Francis to keep the second inning alive. First offering to Francis is just above the letters for ball 1. Gabby Park would bat next if the inning should continue. Right hand with good speed over there at first. Ball up in the air again. This time Sweet will have a much more pedestrian play, but she has to back up on it as the wind really carried it. It got caught up in the wind, and Kylie Sweet was able to make a couple of really solid defensive plays to hold the Hoyas scoreless in the second. Rolling right along to the third as Ava Butler will get set to bat for the second time here in game 2. 5-6-7 due up for the Leopards. Nursing this 1-0 lead and looking to add on it. Marina Egbert looking for a bounce back inning. Leopards have already gotten a ton of traffic on the base paths today. They've left a couple of opportunities out there for some more runs. 6 runners left on base through just the first 2 innings. They've been loaded. And the Hoyas got out of jams in both the first and the second, but Harrington's infield RBI hit the difference so far. Egbert behind here 2-0 on Butler. Getting right back in the count, and it's 2-1. Already in this game, Leopards are 3 for 8 with runners on and 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. And it's just the third inning. This ball hit to the first base side. Strittmatter able to stay with it, and there's one away. Nice play from Emily Strittmatter for the first out. So a good start for Marina Egbert, who for the first time in this game, able to get the lead-off batter to keep the ball in the infield. After the fly out to right to open things up, and then the walk in the second. So here's Reagan Dillon, flew out to right field in the first inning with the bases full. And if it stays with the Leopards in front, then all those runners left on base will be forgiven. But if it gets to a point in which Georgetown comes back, the Leopards will look back on those earlier opportunities. This ball's back up the middle. Francis ranging to her left makes it look so easy. There's 2 away. Maggie Klug up next for the Leopards as Egbert looking for a clean 1-2-3 inning, something that has been tough to come by today. Klug 0 for 3 in game number 1, as we mentioned. Walked and scored a run earlier on today, though. The only run of the game. Another first pitch ball from Marina Egbert. And now the 1-0. Hit hard down the third base line. That got foul. 1-1. That ball was traveling with some speed off the bat of the catcher Klug. He's not made a huge habit of walking, only 6 times so far this season. But an impactful one in the second inning of this afternoon's contest. The 1-1 is downstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Already 4 walks issued by Egbert this afternoon. She had issued only 6 all season. It's been a difficult day for her command. 2-1, hit to the first base side, foul territory, strip matter, will have just enough room at a 1-2-3 inning worked by Marina Egbert here in the third. Hoyas looking to get back a 1-run deficit here in the third. Parker Roden still protecting a 1-0 lead to the bottom half of the third inning. 9-1-2 due up for Georgetown. Gabby Park will take a first pitch on the outside corner, and it is 1-0. Nina Sarlo, Claire Turner also due up here in this third inning. As the Hoyas look to get the run back. Falling a strike now from Roden to Gabby Park. Park plays an excellent defensive left field. .234 average now on the season, factoring in the play earlier today. Hits one out towards the shortstop. Bobbled throw to first base, makes it not in time. Oh, it is just in time. Oh, a late call from the home plate umpire. It certainly looked as though Park beat it out. She's standing on first base, and she doesn't know that she was called out. And now Park will retreat back to the dugout, at least momentarily. And Carla Ross is going to go have a chat with the first base umpire. It certainly looked in real time to the naked eye like Park beat it out. It was bobbled by the shortstop Hall. And now all three umpires are going to come together and have a chat about it. Looked like that little misplay from Hall. It wasn't much, in fairness, and she did well to get a strong throw over, and they will stay with the call that Park is out. So tough break for Gabby Park on what was a ball that looked to be a surefire ground out. Credit Park for still digging just in case, and credit Caroline Hall for a really good recovery as well. First pitch to Sarlo misses downstairs, and it's 1-0. A lot of times you'll see shortstops just kind of give up on it, or worse, try to rush a throw and throw it away. But Hall stayed right with it, still made a strong, accurate throw. The first out of the third. 1-0 is downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. Sarlo trying to be the first Hoya leadoff batter of this game, too, to find her, or rather, second batter of the inning now to find her way aboard, as there's one gone already here in the bottom half of the third. The leadoff batter in the lineup for the Hoyas. 0 for 3 now Georgetown is to start an inning. 2-1. out towards right field, but perfectly placed is Ava Butler. And there's 2 away. 4 in a row retired by Parker Roden, who has only conceded the 1 hit so far off the bat of Brooke Rebhan. Walked Nia Campos with 2 outs in the first, but that's been all the traffic that the Leopards have had to deal with. Here's Claire Turner, flew out to left field back in the first. This is to the right side. It could be playable for Sweet. In foul ground in a 1-2-3 inning worked by Parker Roden. Her first of the game. We're through 3 innings of softball here in D.C. 1-0 Lafayette. On our way to the 4th inning, and Emma Alborn will lead things off for Lafayette. 8-9-1 due up for the Leopards, trying to add on to this 1-0 lead that they have, courtesy of the Katie Harrington RBI single back in inning number 2. Marina Egbert is through 3 innings. She's given up 3 hits. She has walked 4. That's been the big number to circle, really, and has struck out 2. But came back with a good 1-2-3 third inning to perhaps give her a little bit of momentum and a little bit of confidence heading into the middle stretch of this game. Alborn 0 for 1. The ground out to the first baseman back in inning number 2. And the 6 runners left on base, also looming large for the Leopards already today. In case you're just joining us, left the bases loaded in the first and the second after scoring that 1 run in the second frame. And like I said earlier on, if the Hoyas able to find a way to come back, circle those 2 innings and circle that left on base number. But at the moment, Leopards not having it come back to bite them just yet. Count works full now on Alborn. Egbert finding her way back into the count. Looking for strikeout number 3 on the day. With Olivia Catalina and Caroline Hall also due up in this inning. The payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. 3rd strikeout of the day for Egbert. And for the 3rd time in the 4 innings, she has sat down the leadoff batter. Send Catalina to the plate as well. Catalina 0 for 1 today herself. Only 3 hits for the Leopards, and they've all come from the top 3rd of the order. 2 for 2 day for Katie Harrington, including the RBI, jumps off the page. Hall had a hit as well. Bottom part of the order has struggled, though, here in game number 2 for the Leopards. 0-1 hit back up the middle. Francis again ranging to her left. The footwork for the freshman. And there's 2 away. 6 straight retired now from Marina Egbert. Lineup card will flip back around. Caroline Hall will bat for the 3rd time here in game number 2. First offering to Hall is taken below And he's in a little bit inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Hall flew out to right field back in the first. Singled in the second. She was stranded on third. 2 balls and no strikes. Another example this time of Egbert working herself behind in the count against a very capable hitter. Leopards already have 2 2-out hits today. We're going to start a 2-out rally here. And they've got their leadoff hitter Hall way ahead. Danny Rosner found her way on base a couple of times already today, looming on deck, and then Harrington and Sweet afterwards. Egbert will call time and settle things down. See if Hall has the green light here. Alborn already swung at a 3-0 earlier on in this game, but Hall taking all the way, and she takes ball 4. So 2-out base runner for Caroline Hall breaks the batter's retired streak for Egbert. Now Danny Rosner will hit from the left side. Outfield will move over for the slap-hitting Rosner as the left fielder Park a couple of steps in. First offering to Rosner is taken for a strike. A better start to the at-bat for Egbert. Walk in the first, walk in the second for Rosner. The more patient hitters on this Lafayette side. Fouls this one off of herself, though, and she's behind 0-2. Player who can find her way on base in so many different ways. Also a player who has struck out as much as any on this Lafayette side this year. 0-2. Runner's on the move of the throw outside. Throw down to second base is not in time. Oh, they'll say that she overslid the bag. Initially, Hall was in safely and that she couldn't hold on to the base. And a good job by Rebhand to keep the tag applied. And that is it for the Leopards in the fourth. We're halfway through game 2, 1-0 Lafayette. Heart of the order due up for Georgetown here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. 3-4-5, and it'll start with Naya Campos. Power hitting lefty will take downstairs for ball number 1 after the 2-run blast. In game number 1, Campos walked in her first plate appearance back in the first. A 1-0 offering to Campos rolled over at foul. And it's a ball and a strike. Somehow already into her senior season, the native of Tucson, Arizona. That massive season 2 years ago with 13 home runs and 42 RBIs. Name littered across the single season Georgetown record books. Hits this ball high in the air. Will be playable, though, in center field for Catalina. It's the first out of the fourth inning. 6 straight now retired by Parker Roden. who has confounded these Georgetown hitters so far in game number 2. This Hoya offense was coming into this second game with all sorts of momentum. Talked about it in game 1 in case you're just tuning in a little bit later, perhaps after work on the East Coast, now at 5:40 as Kozo hits it foul down the left field line. The 20 runs scored against DePaul, tying a program record for a single game in a 20-5 win, their first conference win of the year last weekend. They scored 9 against Lafayette earlier on here in this one, 7 against DePaul. The final game of that set in between, an 8-7 extra inning loss. 3 straight games for the last 5. The Hoyas have 10 or more hits after they had done so just twice before that stretch in this season. Kozo hits one out towards left field. That'll get down, but foul. Not for the first time today. The Hoyas have something to say to the umpiring crew. It looked like Kozo had placed that one down the left field line, but instead she's called back for a loud strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Roden, looking for her first strikeout of the game, in fact. Instead, this one will stay fair out towards left field. Kozo says, fine. First one's foul. I'll straighten it out a little bit. Second hit of the day for the Hoyas, and they're set up with 1 on and 1 out for Emily Strittmatter. Hoyas are 0 for 3 with a runner on base here in game number 2. Roden has done a good job of making sure, okay, 1 batter gets on base, no problem. Going to shut things down from there. First pitch is a strike to Strittmatter, and that's a good way to start. After you give up the hit, come right back on the inside corner with a well-placed fastball. The ace of this Leopard staff, trying to salvage 1 of 2. The Strittmatter hits one to the third base side. That's a fair ball. Long throw across the diamond is in time. Harrington had to keep her footwork that time and then deliver an absolute strike across the diamond to beat Strittmatter, who was a victim of her own success with how hard she hit the ball that time, that even though it was a long throw, Harrington still had plenty of time. So it'll be up to Rebhand with a runner in scoring position. For the first time today for Georgetown here in the 4th, or the first time in game 2, I should say. Leopard's already 2 for 6 in this situation here in game 2. 0-1 is up and in. Hoyas don't have a 2-out hit yet so far either in this second game of the Twinville. It's been complete night and day on the offensive end, and not in a good way for Georgetown from game 1 to game 2. The 1-1 though is through the left side, deflects off of the glove of the shortstop, and on her way home is Kozo. And this game is all tied up at 1 apiece. A 2-out RBI from Brooke Rebhand, and it's 1-1. Caroline Hall laid out and got just a piece of it with the glove to slow things down, but it wasn't enough to keep it in front of her. And Brooke Rebhand has the Hoyas' first RBI of the game. Now here is Johnson to try to keep it going. In on her fists a bit, shallow left field, and Harrington can't get to it in time. It'll drop foul. 0-1 now to the Hoya catcher. Popped out to to first back in the second inning. The 0-1. Hit in the air, center field. Coming in now is the left fielder, and she will make the play. That is Alborn to put it away and end the inning, but not before Brooke Rebhand ties this game up at 1 apiece as we head to the 5th. To the fifth we go in a brand new ball game here in DC, 1 apiece. Marina Egbert toes the rubber once again after the Hoyas offense got the run back in the bottom half of the fourth inning. The first pitch is at the knees for a strike, and it is 0-1. The Hoyas trying to continue some momentum. Leopards trying to get the lead right back here in a tight affair in game number 2 of this twin bill. Game number 1 was close early before the Hoyas blew it open late, as Francis won't be able to keep that one in front of her. And an infield hit to start things off for Rosner. A good start for Lafayette to try to get it right back. Now Katie Harrington. This is the dangerous part of the order for Lafayette as well. 2, 3, and 4 due up here in this inning. As Rosner reaches for the third time today. Wind really blowing now. And out towards right. First pitch to Harrington. Right back up the middle, could be 2. To second base for 1. On to first, it pulls Strittmatter off the bag. It rolls towards the Georgetown dugout. It's kept in play, but it'll just be a fielder's choice. Score at 1-6. As Harrington will replace Rosner. No error, you can't assume a double play, but with how quickly that ball was hit right back to the pitcher Egbert. Perhaps a missed opportunity to get 2 for the Hoyas. And now here is Kylie Sweet. First pitch upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. He especially would have loved to face the very potent bat of Sweet with nobody on. But instead, Harrington, who had the lone RBI of the day for the Leopards, now represents. Bounces it foul over towards their own dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. Georgetown just simply has not been in that many of these low-scoring affairs in the last couple of games. Do have some success in good, close, low-scoring games. Beat Drexel 4-3. Beat GW 5-4. What was a true road game on this field. That was an extra innings. They needed 10 to sort that out between the Revolutionaries and the Hoyas. Beat Lafayette already earlier on this year, 3-2 in late February in North Carolina. The 1-2 hit foul. And now to play. Really not much reason for either team's coach to think about making a move in the circle. Marina Egbert and Parker Roden have been dueling, especially the last couple of innings. One got downstairs and it's 2-2. That's how quickly things can change in this sport. Game number 1 felt like Hoyas were scoring for fun towards the end. 9 runs, including 7 in the final 3 innings of offense for Georgetown. Now so far just 1 through 5 1/3. Second could win it for them as this one deflects off the glove of Sweet and into shallow right field. Just as in the 4th inning when the Hoyas scored a 1-out hit for Abby Kozo. Emily Strittmatter will bat next. Kozo going to run for herself. Good speed. But has yet to attempt a stolen base this year. Here's Strittmatter. 0 for 2 here in game 2. Skies at foul. And it'll get out of play. Over towards a single unoccupied chair down the first base line, which has presumably some reason for being over there. One that is not readily apparent. 0-1 upstairs, stood up the catcher Klug. Ball and a strike now to Strittmatter. 8 runs driven in this season. 2 balls and a strike now. Shadows have encompassed the bleachers beyond right field. A handful of Hoya faithful and some Lafayette fans have come out as well. Leopards around the DMV all week with the George Mason games yesterday. 2-1 foul, and it's 2-2. So a chance for some Leopards fans to make the trip down to the DC area, see the sights, see some softball. Strip Matter has to protect here. 2-2. Swung on and missed. Went after the riser and came up empty. It's the first strikeout of the day for Parker Roden. And it couldn't have come at a better time. Brooke Rebhan is 2 for 2 today. She has the lone RBI. Takes the first pitch upstairs and outside. Half of the Hoyas' hits in this game have come from Rebhan. The other half have come from Kozo. Ball hit foul, and it's 1-1. And other base runners scattered about. But it's been this middle section of the order that has done the damage. Kozo again off on contact with the 2 outs. 1-1 is hit right at the third baseman Harrington. A step into foul ground, and she makes the catch. Through 6 innings, nothing to separate the Leopards and the Hoyas at 1 apiece. Heart of the Lafayette order due up here in the 7th. Rosner, Harrington, Sweet, trying to break this deadlock that we have played in since the bottom of the 4th inning when the Hoyas tied things up. First pitch to Rosner is upstairs for ball number 1. 6 innings for Marina Egbert. 1 run on 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, 6 walks. No extra base hits conceded. The 1-0 offering is in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Good, quick, fast-paced pitching duel. Strong defense. Enjoyable game 2 here between the Leopards and the Hoyas, and it has at least one more twist yet in it. 2-0 to Rosner. Spoils it foul. Rosner with good speed should she get on base. It would ordinarily be a situation in which you may perhaps see Harrington bunt, but Harrington very good with the bat herself. That was a 2-1 actually, so this, the 2-2. I beg your pardon. It's hit right at the third baseman. That's Sarlo for the first out of the inning. Rosner hit that ball squarely the other way, right at the Hoya third baseman Sarlo, who reacted well to put it away. And here is Harrington. 2 for 3 day for the Leopards. Driven in the game's only run for Lafayette. Fouls this one off of herself, and it's 0-1. Hoyas in the 7th will have 7, 8, and 9 due up. And then Nina Sarlo, if anybody should get on base. Oh, 1 to Harrington. It's hit well into the left center field. Gap way back and gone! Go ahead solo shot in the 7th for Katie Harrington. Her 3rd home run of the season. And the Leopards lead here late. This game was waiting for its signature moment, its signature swing. And it comes from among the more likely candidates. Katie Harrington with long ball number 3. The first extra base hit of the day that Marina Egbert has allowed. Just the 3rd home run of the year that she has allowed. And it's 2-1 Lafayette. Wow. Kylie Sweet will take a strike. What a twist. Looked as though Egbert was really settling in. Looked as though all those runners left on base might have come back to really haunt Lafayette. And Katie Harrington undoes all of that with 1 swing of the bat. 0-2 to Sweet. The 0-2 offering is swung on and missed. It's a good response from Egbert to go and get her 4th strikeout of the day against another dangerous hitter. Sweet has struggled today. And now it's up to Ava Butler to keep this 7th inning going, but the Leopards might just have what they need already. It's far from a sure thing. You know, the Leopards would love all the insurance and all the breathing room that they can get. But Katie Harrington has put them in the driver's seat. 1-0. Back up the middle, Francis fields it on 2 hops, and we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Hoyas need 1 to tie and 2 to walk it off after Katie Harrington gives Lafayette the lead. Here we go, bottom of the 7th inning. Hoyas down 2-1, and Parker Roden out there trying to put the finishing touches on a complete game victory. Talked in game number 1 about last year how few times the Leopards were able to string together a complete game. This is going to be a good start for the Leopards. 1 pitch and 1 out as Hall retires Johnson. The fewest complete games from a pitcher last year in a single season in program history, not including the COVID-shortened 2020 season. Parker Roden trying to finish off what would be the 7th complete game of the year already after 8 all of last year. Would be Roden's first of the year. Francis trying to kickstart something here for the Hoyas. To the left side, knocked down by Harrington, the player who gave the Leopards the lead, now put them on the precipice. A chance for Lafayette to break this 5-game losing streak. To split the season series of 4 games with the Hoyas at 2 apiece. And it comes down to Gabby Park. Park takes the first pitch up high. If Park were to reach, Nina Sarlo would come to the plate as the potential winning run. But Park is 0 for 2 today. Ground out and then a bunt pop out in the 5th. 1-0 is outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Roden hasn't utilized the strikeout very much at all. Only 1 today of Emily Strittmatter in the 6th. Their defense behind her has been excellent. Finding the strike zone here, and it's 2-1. She's limited the free pass, just 1. And it came all the way back in the 1st inning. Just 4 hits that she has conceded. And her offense has done just enough so far. The 2-1 is foul. Hoyas down to their last strike. Georgetown is looking to go 2 games clear of 500 for the first time this year. They have alternated wins and losses from just about the word go. All the way back on Valentine's Day weekend in February. After winning game number 1, backs against the wall here in game 2. The 2-2. Fouled away, will do it again. Lafayette won 7 games all of last year. They are 1 pitch away from their 7th win of 2026. Another 2-2. Hit to the third base side, foul ground. Harrington moving over, and there was some miscommunication between Harrington and Hall. And the ball drops foul. Harrington thought that Hall was calling her off behind her, and she ceded to the shortstop, who thought that the third baseman was getting to it. Second life for Gabby Park. What can she do with it? That ball dropped in foul ground, but in play. 2-2 again. Upstairs, and the count is full. Parker Roden making it look easy through the first 2 batters. This has been a battle with Gabby Park. The payoff pitch, low and away, and the winning run is going to come to the plate in the form of Nina Sarlo. The first walk since the 1st inning at a very inopportune time. And there will be a conversation in the circle about how to go after Nina Sarlo, who does not have a home run yet this season. In fact, who does not have a home run in her collegiate career, the sophomore. What a storybook time this would be. But on the other side, Parker Roden still 1 batter away from finishing this off. Gabby Park, the runner. Does she perhaps test Maggie Klug with the struggles that the Leopards have had this year, allowing runners to steal bases? No, it might not be Parker. It is. She's just tossing over some equipment over towards the dugout. So ready for battle now. Roden and Sarlo with Park on first. In a 1-run game, the first pitch to Sarlo is upstairs. Claire Turner would be next. The very dangerous center fielder is 0 for 3 here in game 2. Fouled away, a ball and a strike. Sarlo with a pop out and a fly out in innings 1 and 3, and then she reached on a fielder's choice back in the 5th. 1-1. Back up the middle into center field for a base hit. Just the second 2-out hit of the game for the Hoyas. And it puts runners on first and second base and 2 outs for Claire Turner. The winning run is aboard. And Turner can tie this game right back up with a base hit. With 2 outs, Park is going to score on anything down in the outfield. First pitch to Turner is right down the chute for a strike. 9 runs driven in this year for Claire Turner. The Hoyas fighting back here in the bottom half of the 7th. All with 2 outs. The 0-1 is off the glove of the shortstop hole into center field. The throw home is late. This game is tied. Claire Turner comes through, and it's 2-2 in the 7th. 3 straight Hoyas reach with 2 away. And Claire Turner drives home Gabby Park. Sarlo up to second. Turner to first. Her run doesn't matter one bit. And Campos at the plate. Takes a first pitch on the outside edge. It's 0-1. RBI number 10 of the season for Turner. Keeps the game alive for the Hoyas. The 0-1. Low and away. That's a great stop from Klug. To prevent the runner, Sarlo, from going to third. And Turner to second. But like we said, that run doesn't matter. It's all about Sarlo's at second. The 1-1 is upstairs. Abby Kozo would be next. Only way that she would bat here in the 7th is if the bases would be loaded. Either it'll be the 3rd out here or Campos will end it otherwise. 3 balls and a strike. Gotta be 1 pitch, 1 spot here if you're Naya Campos. And another chat between Klug and Roden. Interesting decision here. Do you go after Campos? You have to groove one here if you're going to throw a strike. Or do you kind of cede the at-bat? Go back to a fresh count against Abby Kozo with the bases loaded and the winning run on third. Hoyas have already tied it up in the 7th, looking for more. The 3-1 hit to the third base side. Foul ground, playable for Alburn. And she makes the play to end the inning. But Claire Turner with an RBI single, and we will play extras here at game number 2 in DC. Here in game number 2 of this doubleheader, we head to extra innings, and we will use the international tiebreaker with the runner at second base to start things off. Reagan Dillon will lead off the inning. She squares around to bunt, bunts right through it. Actually got a piece of it foul. And so it is 0-1. Ava Butler, who was the last out of the 7th inning, will be the runner here to start off the 8th. This ball's laced out towards left center field. It'll get down and go all the way to the wall. Dillon's going to trade places with the runner at second with a RBI double. Reagan Dillon had struggled all day long at the plate, and getting one more opportunity to swing the bat makes the most of it. And the Leopards have the lead back 3-2 here in the 8th. I think that Dillon might get run for here. And indeed she will. Trying to identify just who that is running. It is number 12, Jessica Tejera, the freshman from Scarsdale, New York. Tejera, I should say. My apologies. The freshman will run in place of Dillon, whose big swing has given the Leopards at the moment the lead. Again, remember the Hoyas will too have a runner at second base to start off the bottom half of the 8th inning. Now does Klug square around to bunt as well. Swinging away and taking ball 1. Basically, the Leopards at this point spotted an extra run with the runner still at second base and nobody out. And now you can think about a real crooked number if you're the Leopards to go and win this in 8. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 2-0, yeah. With Tejera at second base. Excellent speed from the freshman. Ball bounced foul back to the screen. What a swig of emotions for the Leopards. You think you might have perhaps won it with Harrington's home run in the 7th. Hoyas had a real chance to win it too in the bottom half of the inning. Campos batting with 2 on and 2 out. Now Klug does square around. She bunts right through it. Throw is on its way to third base, not in time, and it wasn't fielded cleanly either by Francis. A runner now at third with less than 2 outs. Hoyas will have the middle third of the order. That has been a productive part of the order here in game 2. That will bat in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Campos would be the player who would be the runner left on second base, but you'd imagine she'll be run for. That ball gets away too from the catcher, and here comes Tejera. She's going to score on ball 4. A wild pitch makes it 4-2 Leopards. Great base running from the pinch runner Tejera. That's what she's in the game for. And that might be the end of the line for Marina Egbert. Abby Kozo is coming on in from right field, and she is going to get the ball here in the 8th inning with the Leopards leading by 2. We'll allow Kozo to warm up and come right back with the Leopards looking for more here in extras. Abby Kozo, the true two-way player, is into pitch here in the 8th inning. With the Leopards leading 4-2, already 2 across here in this top half of the 8th inning. Kozo pitched against Delaware on Valentine's Day, didn't record an out. While giving up 2 runs, she walked 3. The command was really the issue. Gets a strike that time, though, to even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Danny Koo into the game in right field for Kozo's spot defensively. 1-1 in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Kozo trying to limit the damage. She will lead off the 8th inning for the Hoyas offensively. As it stands, that will be as the tying run, trying to make sure it stays that way. Here in this 2-run game with the Hoyas getting the runner on second to start the inning. A home field advantage, such an advantage here in extras with that tiebreaker, because you know exactly what it is you'll need. So much is made as that ball's hit foul down the right field line about what you do strategy-wise as the visitor. Do you bunt as the leadoff batter and go for 1? You try to put up a big number. And it really was made a lot easier. That decision was with Reagan Dillon's RBI double in the first at-bat of this 8th inning. That one's upstairs. And Tahara came on in to score. 1 more 2 for the Leopards. Payoff pitch from Kozo. Right back up the middle. Kozo made the catch, and then she threw to first. And a double play. What a play that time from Kozo, the outfielder turned pitcher. Showing off some of the defensive skills. That ball was hit squarely right back to her. And as soon as the runner broke for second base, she never had a chance. She was off on the pitch and was hung out to dry. That ball was hit very sharply. Now the first pitch downstairs, and it's 1-0. So Kozo with an opportunity to get through this top of the 8th inning without anything more done for the Leopards, and a chance to go and get it back in the bottom half of the inning. Ball and a strike. What a story this would be with Kozo coming into pitch and then going right to the bat first in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 4 runs for the Leopards here. 2 for the Hoyas. And of the game's 6 runs, 2/3 of them have come in the last inning and a half. 1-1, slow chopper. Kozo will pick it up. She won't have a play. Swinging bunts to the third base side. That Catalina was always going to outrun, and now the lineup will flip back around for Caroline Hall. Hall, the shortstop, will bat for the 5th time here in this game. 1 for 3 with a walk. Left a runner on, has been caught stealing 1 time. Been very involved defensively, as you'd expect for the everyday shortstop. Takes the first pitch for a strike, thrown out to second base, not in time. Stolen base for Olivia Catalina. And another runner in scoring position for the Leopards, and this would be a big one. If they could extend the lead to 3, that would make sure that the Hoyas would need another runner on to bring the tying run to the plate. With the runner at second to start the inning. That one's upstairs and outside. So the Leopards already up by 2 here in the 8th, putting the game in motion a little bit more